this next month will be like the month of May will be like 22,000 in sales for digital products. It's like, okay, it gave me an idea for something that now I can create and then go do. It's not too good to be true would be one of them, because I know that right away I was definitely a skeptic of it and thinking like, I'm gonna try it, but I just don't know if this is actually gonna work or this is gonna be it.
What would you say to the people who are skeptical about this business model, right? Okay, I am so excited to have Teri Galb with me here today. And the reason I was so excited to have you on, Teri, is because we spoke probably back in January, I think, was it? January or February. It was definitely a couple of months ago. And we had got on a call and we were talking about just like some of the things that we were up to. And you mentioned MRR, Master Resell Rights, and this whole private label community, et cetera. And me being in the digital marketing space for like years now, never heard of this before. And when you were explaining it, it was like this completely new world that I was learning about. And since then, two things happened. Number one is I've been starting to see it pop up in more places, right? Like when you actually like dig into the community, you can see that there's people talking about this and there's people that are building good businesses off the back of it. But then also, secondly, I've been following your Instagram, which is the Faceless Digital Chic, and seeing your growth in terms of just your brand and the products that you're selling. And of course, your monthly revenue has skyrocketed in the past couple of months, substantially this year. So thank you for joining us, Teri, and like taking the time to share more about this business model.
Of course. Thanks for having me. As you mentioned when we chatted, that was in my first month, and I was definitely kind of struggling with like, I mean, the concept was great, but I just needed like that little boost, and that phone call with you gave me that extra boost of what I needed and those ideas to be like, okay, I'm gonna like put this into place, and that's definitely helped me skyrocket. So thank you.
Of course. And so, one thought that I had that I think would be great to start this off with for everyone out there who doesn't know what MRR or Master Resell is like, if you were explaining this to a fifth grader, right? How would you explain what MRR is, private label rights, the difference between each, and like what this business model actually is? If you could explain it to me, again, like I'm a fifth grader.
Yes. So when you buy something, meaning like a digital product or course with Master Resell Rights, it means that you have the authority to sell that item to others.
Okay.
So if you buy an ebook, let's say with Master Resell Rights, you can sell it to someone else and earn 100% profit. And then they can turn around and sell it to someone else too for 100% profit. It's like a chain reaction of selling. But if it also has the private label rights, you can actually take it and rebrand it as your own.
Got it.
There's no affiliate marketing. You don't get a chunk based on how many are sold. You're solely reliant upon those sales are yours, but you're responsible for those sales, and you're not reliant on someone else making those sales for you. You have to do it yourself.
Got it. So essentially you're buying a program for a set fee, whatever that is, and you're either buying it for yourself because you want to take the program and it comes with MRR associated with it, or you're buying it with the purpose of, that your audience would find value in this back end thing. Got it. And so, thinking about the mechanics of this, if you buy a program online and you have access to it, like what are some of the steps that it takes to like start selling it? Like I saw that you use StanStore for that. Is that like a recommended software? Like what does that look like on the back end of building out just the systems to be able to start selling online?
Yeah. So I use StanStore. I hadn't even heard of StanStore also until starting this. And I love it. It's very easy. It's really easy to take a product, a course, or digital product, and do your landing page and your payment are all in one. So someone's not having to add to cart and then abandoning cart. It's just like they're there, and then they're going to pay, and then that's it. So it's very easy. Or at least when you go directly to the product, the homepage of your StanStore, it's just got your products listed, and you can kind of label them as you want. But one nice thing about some of these courses that I've purchased are they'll have funnels, either like here's what to put in your stand store, or also like System IO is another big one that people will use. So
Okay.
like they'll already have a funnel page built out for you, and then you just have to customize it as your own. So
Okay.
the courses really make selling it easier because they already have that stuff set up for you, which is another huge thing about not all the courses do. I think I've purchased like 4 or 5 big courses now at this point, and I'm only actually promoting 2 of them based upon like what I've learned from them, what I've taken, and knowing like, okay, this one I think is something I can sell and I really believe in, versus this one I wasn't crazy about it.
Right. Right. And where do you go to find these courses? Like, are there any go-to places that you find you get the highest quality content?
Honestly, it's been following other digital marketing accounts and kind of following ones that have the higher follower counts, the ones that like pop up when I'm scrolling reels, and then going and checking out their products. And then seeing something that like, oh, I would love to take that. I think that's what my audience would relate to too. There's definitely courses I've seen out there that they're quote unquote viral, but I'm like, that's just not for me. It's not something that
Yeah.
I'm really interested in. It's not something that I want to sell to my audience.
Got it. So when you buy a program, you're like quality controlling this thing, making sure that you got the
Absolutely.
value out of that you want it. And then you're either like, nah, no thanks, just gonna trash this one for now. Or oh wow, this really worked for me. This I know how to sell this. I know how to this is something that my audience is gonna find value in.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Got it. Got it. And I know that from watching your stuff over the past year or so, you've tried a couple of digital products, creating different digital things and all of that, which I thought was cool to watch because it's cool to see somebody try different things and just keep pushing until they find that one that really works and hooks. But what's kind of like that backstory of what led you to trying different things to ultimately finding this one that was your winner for the past
Yeah.
couple of months?
It really was over a year ago because it was shortly after the first of last year. Like it was probably January 2023. And I started getting served ads for digital calendars like that you could do on your iPad. And I thought they were really cool. And I was like, this is something that I think could, easily be sold to like my niche, which is working moms that are busy, that working 9 to 5 jobs, but want to stay organized. And I actually created my own digital calendar. I just got so burnt out from it so quickly because I wasn't passionate about it. Like, I'm not a very creative person. So, even shooting the videos to show all the potential, which has so much potential, I was like, this just isn't for me. And like I said, I wasn't passionate about it. So, I just was like, this isn't something that I want to do in the long run. And then next after that came drop shipping, where I was like, I should design t-shirts because I live in Florida and there's like no sports clothing for women in Florida, which is weird because
Okay.
where I came from
Interesting.
In Minnesota, they had it, and they like cute game day gear that women could wear. And I was like, that's really weird. A state that has what, 21, 22 million people, and that's not offered here. So I was like, oh, this is such a great idea. So I started that business.
I didn't know about the drop shipping. Okay. Maybe you
Yeah,
mentioned it. Maybe you mentioned it.
I
Yeah.
started that one. We even put a DBA in the newspaper for like the name of the business, and I was super pumped about it. Yet again, I'm not great at designing. So I was like, I bet I can design some of these shirts, or I could like hire out, and was super excited about it. I think I got the 2 baseball teams because I was like, when baseball season starts, like I'm going to launch this and I can run ads to it. And my very first sample that I got sent the wrong sample size. And I'm like, this is a telltale sign of, I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with someone getting the wrong size and then, having to replace it and shipping,
Yeah.
and it's nice, obviously, cutting out that middleman where you don't have to have inventory in stock. And
Right.
you can just, based upon like someone orders and then it gets made and then it gets sent.
Right.
I think like Printful or Printify is who I was doing it with.
Okay.
Yet again, the profit margin on that was like t-shirts, it's like nothing. I think you made like $5 on shirts. Sweatshirts, you could make like $20,
And then you
which
add back in advertising and everything, and
yeah,
it's
so you'd have to
yeah,
sell a lot of them, and it seemed like it would take a really long time to kind of get to that point of having like good profit. And then so I just kind of put a standstill on that one and wasn't really sold on that because I'm like, it's a lot of work, which is fine. You know, maybe it might be something I'm still continuing or maybe doing again in 5 years. I don't know. We'll see. So, and then I happened to come across a reel on Facebook, or I'm sorry, a reel on Instagram that it was this gal that she had this faceless account and she was selling like digital marketing courses. And I love digital marketing, obviously.
yep,
And so I kind of went down that rabbit hole of like following her. And I saw that was the other thing this last year. I'm like, oh, I could create my own digital marketing course. So much time and effort, which I could have done, but I'm like, where do I even start? I knew where to start, but it was just a lot. So when I saw that this digital marketing course was already done and you could take it and it had really good content and you could just resell it, I was like, this seems too good to be true. And then that's when I learned about the Master Resell Rights, and and was like, okay, if I can do this and I can do it faceless, I was like 100% I'm going to do it. And then that's how
yeah.
it started.
I love that. Two things that I pick up from that story is number one is I think it's cool that you take action on things that you learn. Like how many I see so many reels of different business opportunity or this and that, and then everyone knows people who like see that kind of stuff, talk about it, but then never take any action. But then
Hmm.
also, secondly, is you learn pretty quickly that this isn't something that I wanted to do. So you understood that and you moved on from it versus
Hmm.
the trying to get that journal thing going, knowing that you're not passionate about it, all of that, and sticking with it so long and not making any progress. But you were able to move quickly, which is really cool
Yeah.
for that. And the since you got into the master resale rights, I think that was January of this year, or was it a little bit earlier?
Yeah. So I launched my faceless account on January 8th. I'm pretty sure I bought the course maybe like January 2nd. So it was very
It's always
quick.
January's movements for you.
You know? I had been thinking about it. I think it was maybe November, but with Christmas and stuff, and it was on my like the back of my mind where I literally was thinking
Yeah,
about it at night, and that's how I knew like, okay, this is something that I want to do, and that I'm going to be like crazy about and actually want to do, and wake up and jump on my computer and be excited about versus like, oh, I can't, this isn't something that I want really to be
right,
doing, but it's something to be doing because I can.
right, right. And what has your growth looked like since then? Obviously, from a business perspective, there's revenue, but there's also other things like
Mhm.
your email list growth, your brand growth. Obviously, your accounts grown. Like, what has that rise been like? And has it been linear? Has it been exponential? Like, powering through the early months. Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, it's crazy to me that it's only been 4 months, 4 months and a few days, because it feels like it's been a lot longer because I've learned so much in such a short amount of time. So right away, like with the faceless accounts, they're really like you should be doing 3 reels a day, posting 10 stories a day. I got pretty burnt out from that because those are all like if you want to grow your account organically, which I get. Most people don't know paid ads, and also most people are like, I just can't afford paid ads. I fortunately in this business know the power of paid ads and what they can do. So right away, I was just kind of trying to get my footing and of okay, do I sell the course right away? Do I find some other products to sell with it? So really, that first month, I think I made under $100 my first month, maybe at like 120 or something. I'm not even sure. I'd have to go back and look, but just really getting my footing of doing the reels, finding the trending audio, things like doing the Instagram reel covers, growing my list, doing the email, figuring out email nurture sequence. Like, what am I really selling? What are people wanting to buy? So once I kind of figured that out, like once I hit that, like, oh my gosh, this is what people are buying, or like wanting to buy organically, that was when I was like, okay, this is what I need to be running ads to. Because I knew that from my experiences, people aren't just going to go buy a $500 course from you cold. They don't
Right.
know you, they don't trust you. Why are they gonna buy that from you?
Right.
So someone that's purchased something at a lower price from you is more likely going to be buy something at the higher price, and that's
Right.
100% what I've seen since really really figuring it out, I should say.
Got it. Got it. So month one was really just organic driven.
Yeah.
Month two was when you started the paid ads and started putting advertising spend behind it.
Yeah. And even when I did start the paid ads, I was doing it to like messaging, and I would get a ton of responses for the messaging, but no one was purchasing.
Got it.
And so I was like, wait, why am I doing this? I should just be sending. I'm pretty sure this is even after the conversation with you. It's like send people right to like the sale, like, tell Meta I want people to purchase, not message me.
Right. Right.
It kind of cuts
Yeah.
out that middle process of having to have that conversation. They're just going to go straight to purchasing. So once I did that and I had a lower ticket item for people that wanted to purchase, then I was able to upsell them in my email nurture sequence, get them to follow me, see what other things I was posting on my Instagram, and I've just made other sales and other products that way.
Got it.
And those are the
Wow.
people that essentially buy my high ticket course. They've been following me. They purchased a lower ticket. They liked it, and then they're the ones that are buying those. Like I said, that their high ticket course.
Got it. Got
Which
it.
technically I don't think it's high ticket because it's only 500, which is medium ticket,
But
right?
from ads perspective though, that makes sense. That makes sense. So like if you were talking to somebody that was starting this in the beginning, like they don't have any brand, they're starting from scratch, etc. Would you recommend following that similar path of like start organically, figure out your footing, figure out what people want, and then pour the gasoline of ads on top of that after they figured out that starting point?
Oh yeah, 100%. And oddly enough, I actually have a friend here in Florida. She's coming over on Thursday. She's been doing her faceless account for a month now,
Nice.
and it's going kind of slow for her. She hasn't been as consistent as I think you need to be right away. Like, you really do have to be consistent. You can't just take like 4 or 5 days off, because then you're going to kind of lose your audience. You really need to be posting right away to like get those followers. I think a lot of people too like don't interact enough with their followers. I've really noticed just sending a simple message to a new follow, of being like, thanks for the follow, like let me know if I can answer any questions for you. That started so many conversations that have then led to like sales.
Right. Right.
So just
Yeah,
being
that's
that
cool.
genuine, and even helping people. Like, there's been people that have purchased a $27 product, but then they have a question about something else.
Right.
Um, and just, giving them that, shooting them a quick 2-minute loom, or sending them a voice message with a little tip, that leads to sales as well.
Right. Why faceless? I've always wondered that. I know that you built your brand around not just being faceless, but like faceless is the brand, right? And you help other
Mhm.
people grow on
That they
social
can do it
media.
faceless too. Yep, that they don't
Yeah,
need to.
but like, how did that start? You know what I mean? And is this business model something that's better faceless, or does it not matter? But what's the backstory between that? I've never really. I don't know if I've ever actually asked.
Yeah. So I've been, ever since I was little, one to just not like to be on camera. I have no problem being behind the camera. I was a marketing director at a wellness clinic for 7 years, and I would shoot all like the fun videos, but I was never the one in front. Like, I'd get everyone, everyone
You're the
there to
one who's
be.
like this, like holding the
Yeah.
camera. Yeah, yeah,
So I've always been that way. So that was what was so intriguing to me. Like, I'm not an introvert by any means, but like I don't like
yeah.
it. And it's funny, even my 3-year-old daughter, she like you hold the camera up to her and she like puts her hand over her face. Like, must be a part of our genetics. But so when I saw that, I was like, well, not only that, I also privacy for like family. I just didn't want to be one of the moms that was showcasing my kids online. I don't want to. They're too little and, they don't really have the choice in the matter for it. So I just didn't want to be that person either. And also, like you're always worried about like what does my home look like behind me. I have to get up and put makeup on or do my hair if I'm going to be getting in front of the camera, and it's just really nice to be able to, there's so many like video like stock videos that you can take that are actually faceless because that's
Right.
trending, and you can pick like your aesthetic ones and just use those for your reels, for your content. And it can be like across the board, like it matches your aesthetic and it matches your branding, and you don't have to show your face.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. Before your brand came up, I just assumed everyone got on camera until I
Yeah.
started seeing your stuff where I'm like, hey, you don't really have to, especially I like the idea of the privacy part makes a lot of sense. And also, some people just don't want to get on, like, some people are writers, some people are
Hmm.
podcast people, some people are video
Hmm.
people. Like, for me, I'm a video person, but for me to write a long caption feels like hell. Like the idea of sitting there and typing something out is not something I enjoy doing. But there's also people who love to sit and write, but getting on camera is really difficult for them, or it's not something that they're comfortable with. So, do you have any tips for determining faceless versus not? Any rules of thumb if somebody came to you and they're like, I want to start, but I don't know if I want to go faceless or if I want to go out there.
Yeah, I actually just had someone ask me that like yesterday or a couple of days ago. They were like, I can't decide. They had said they've been following your account. And I don't know which one I should do. And I've seen hybrids where someone will show their face every once in a while, but the
Ooh,
majority
hybrid.
they'll use
Yeah,
those aesthetic videos. So those days that they don't want to, they don't have time, they want to shoot like a quick video. They can do that. It takes a little bit longer, in my opinion, to build that trust with the faceless account because they can't see your face and connect with you. So you're going to have to really sell yourself in your storytelling, in your copywriting, in your stories on Instagram, like sharing some personal information about you for them to connect with. Versus if they can see your face, it's easier for them to connect faster. So you
yeah,
just maybe it takes a little bit longer with a faceless account to kind of build that trust right away.
got it, got it.
So I don't know,
Okay,
it just totally depends on your opinion and your personality. If you want to share your face, if you have time for it.
yeah, yeah, and honestly, the hybrid thing is, I guess, it's a good point too. It's not like necessarily black or white either. There might
Mhm.
be it might be a little bit of gray area of you try both until you kind of see what feels more naturally, what clicks better, and then roll more on that end or the other. So
Yeah.
yeah, that totally makes sense, and it's cool for the people out there who are like aren't on social or aren't consistent, etc. And this is a way of getting their brand out there consistently without putting themselves in that position of having to be on camera all the time as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And like I said, for the privacy thing too, I have a couple girlfriends and then my parents that know about this faceless account. Like my brother, my sister-in-law don't even know about it. So that's like the other
wow,
thing. I was like, I don't want to promote this on my personal page and be like, follow this faceless account. Like I was like, I want this to be my friends and my family.
it truly is. Okay, wow,
Yeah, to not know
wow,
about it. So they don't know about it.
wow, wow, wow.
Hmm.
So, if you're willing to brag, I think I saw on your social stories that you did like 15 or 16 grand in the last 30 days or something like that. Like something
Um,
crazy.
Yeah, so it's really the past 2 months have really skyrocketed. So I think like that first month I was like 100, and then I went up to like 3,000, which to me was crazy because I really started this for, my hope was, I don't know, like 500 to 1,000 extra bucks like a month would be awesome. So when I hit that 3,000, it was just like, oh my gosh, like the potential that's there is insane. And then I think it went to 10,000 the next month, and then it was 17,000, and then if this month goes on track, I think then this next month will be like the month of May will be like 22,000 in sales for
It's
digital
crazy.
products.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. Holy
And I
crap.
will say this, I'm only promoting with paid ads one product.
Wow.
And it's a low ticket. But because of that, I get I get sales to the courses because then people get put into my email nurture. They go and they look at my stand store and see what other products like I'm selling, and I'll talk about that in my emails. So I'm like, okay, this is just me promoting one product. Like I need to be, I need to be promoting more than one product.
But still,
Obviously,
though, 22 grand on one, or on track for 22, but see, from 100 to 3,000 to 10,000 to 17,000, like that's serious growth.
yeah,
That's serious. And it's getting into life. For many, it probably already is in the life changing money kind of level at this point,
yeah.
where it makes a big difference. Obviously, you mentioned the paid ads as being the main driver. Would you say that is, if you had to take the tactics, the strategies, whatever, down into like two or three that have driven the most of this growth? Paid ads sounds like it would be the main one. Is there anything else that's contributed to this that you've done?
Yeah. So organically, obviously, right away is great, and that's what the courses teach you. You know, these courses don't really teach you paid ads because, like I said, I don't think a lot of people know it. Um, and I got burnt out really fast, really quickly of posting the 3 reels a day.
Yeah,
I just was like, it was slow growth, and I was like, I know the power of paid ads.
yeah,
Like, so that's when I started my ads, and then everything increasing so much. It's like I'll give Facebook my money all day, every day to get the return on ad spend that I was getting.
right.
It just brings more people into your funnel. So I definitely say paid ads by far number one was the game changer, and then email marketing,
Email
like an
marketing too.
email, yeah, like the nurture sequence when like I have a freebie, so I don't run ads or anything to my freebie. I'll get a lot of opt-ins to my freebie that someone has found my page, and then they're curious, but
Yep,
obviously they don't want to buy a product yet. So the freebie, it's a it's a 9 page guide that shows them how I started faceless marketing, and then they get put into the email nurture sequence after that.
got it,
And then also I have an email nurture sequence for when someone has bought a low ticket item from me as well.
got it, got it. Yeah, that's so awesome. And with the paid ads, are you doing any like short term promotions or discounts, or is it literally just an ad to a sales page to a product conversion? That's it. So you really have
Yep.
the ability where does a lot of your scale come from just bumping up the ad spend
Yeah.
periodically?
Yep. I've tried a few different strategies too for it. Like, so for my number one seller, I right away went just to my actual reel that's on my account. Um, and then I was like, well, I want to test it to see if I can I'll download a couple different versions of the reel, um, add in some headlines because if you're doing it directly to like a post, you can't do headlines to it.
Right.
So then, and honestly, I've been trying to analyze it the past. It's changed a little bit in the last 14 days, but I'd say in the last 30 days, the one that has been going just directly to my post, not actual ads, that one's been outperforming the one where
Really.
I've got different versions and dynamic creative. Yeah.
And I'm sure the longer you go, the more social proof comes up on those ads.
Oh yeah,
So they
the
have
social
the
proof
number
on
of
it. The
likes.
social proof is awesome right now too. That it's on both Facebook and Instagram. The social proof's there, which is great. And I've
Yeah,
gotten a lot
there's
of really good comments where people are like, "I bought this and I love it," and thank you so
nothing
much.
beats that. Literally nothing beats that with ads.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's cool. You don't have any limited time, anything on it. So you don't
Hmm.
have to worry about that you have to turn that off at some point or anything
Yeah.
like that. You just keep running it as long as you want.
I know the
That's awesome.
fatigue. Obviously, I've been keeping track of the frequency, and I know some people have made comments about seeing it a few times, and I'm like, it's okay if you've seen it a few times. I think the frequency is at 2 if the max. I'm
That's
like,
not
which
bad.
is nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, you worry about that though, because you just like you see it every day. So you're like, I feel like everyone's already seen it, and
yeah,
then, but
really, it's not that way. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. If somebody wants to get into this and they don't have Facebook ads experience, where do you go to learn? Obviously, you came with experience to this, but I imagine a lot of people watching this don't have that same years of media buying knowledge. Like, is it YouTube? Do you have a course on paid ads? Like, where do people go to learn about this who might be inspired by your story, but feel that the inability of knowing paid ads is blocking them from getting into it?
yeah, that's a good question. That's probably been one of my number one questions I get too from people that send me like DMs asking about it, because a lot of people will just boost like a post or an ad
Yeah.
because that's what Instagram tells you. Do you want to boost this? And they're like, oh yeah, I'll boost it for like $5 a day. And I'm like, do not boost your post. You're going to waste your money. You're going to throw it down the toilet. Um, so that is kind of actually something that has led me to 4 months later where I'm like, I can be creating I have I don't want to say the knowledge, but I almost have not even experience. It's not the right word that I'm looking for, but motivation maybe where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can create my own course. Stan Store actually has an option where you can do courses right in there.
People can
Cause
log
like
in. It's a whole there.
yeah, yeah. Like Kajabi, has courses and high level and all, or places where you can host it. But if I'm already paying for Stan, I'm like, I might as well just put my course right in Stan too,
Right.
because it makes sense. So I want to do a paid ads course, but it's not going to come with like a group where you can ask all the questions and kind of have your hand held. It's going to be a like, here's to the point. If there's little things, you might have to go to you might have to go to
Yeah.
Google to figure out those
Yeah.
things.
How
Like
to
I'm
put
going
the
to give
header,
you,
how to put the pixel on your header and things like that. Yeah.
yeah. Like I mean, I'll show as much as I know and as much as I can, but I know that little things come up, and because it's not going to be a $500 course that would come with it. If you're going to pay for that, like it's going to be, I think I'm probably going to price it around like $97, where it's going to show you from A to B how to get and it's actually going to be more so to promote like your reels.
Right.
Um,
I feel like that course would crush for you.
yeah, so that's something that's like, okay, I need to be doing this, and that's definitely what I've gotten the most from. I just need to like sit down and start it and write an outline for it. But actually, I'm working on this mini course right now that I think I was only going to do like $27 to it. And it's what I get, the other questions that I get asked the most, where people like don't even really know how to create a template link in Canva, and then creating like aesthetically pleasing reels to showcase, like if they're going to showcase something, like how do they get that?
Right.
Just like little tips and tricks for like their stand store and promoting things that it took me 2 months to figure out on my own. And it would have been really cool to like have someone show me that right
Right.
away,
Right. For
versus me
27
trying to
bucks.
figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of two things going on there, with like one with ads, one with that other one kind of helping people that are just getting started. And then I also just offered too, because I had people ask, like, can I get on the call with you? So I offer a one-on-one call as well, where we can get on and you can ask me anything. I have done a couple calls where I've set up their business manager for them, like
Wow.
created the ad account, created their pixel, like showed them where to put it, and gave them suggestions on how to set it up, but didn't tell them their audiences or anything, because that's going to be based upon them and what
Very
they
specific
want.
thing. Yeah.
Um, but as far as like learning on their own, I don't know, because I've never really, I don't know. I know Udemy has like a pretty cheap Facebook ads, YouTube
It might
as
just be
well.
learning by doing. It might just be you know, I always say like the Netflix learning style is a killer, where it's like, let me watch this YouTube video on paid ads, and then I'll watch it, and then maybe find a good tutorial or somebody like who can help guide, but then watch the video maybe once, and then watch it play pause while you're doing it on the other computer it's like riding a bike. You know what I mean? You're not going to get good at it by watching a video. You're going to get good at it by figuring out how to
Exactly.
ride
You
and
have
then
to
teaching.
like go in and do it. And there's always going to be things that come up. Like, as you know, every single ad account is so different. It comes
Yeah.
across so many different things that it's like no two are the same when it comes to certain things. So yeah, it's definitely like doing and figuring it out and testing. Because what works for my ads and my account isn't going to work for someone, even someone else that's doing the exact same thing.
Right. What are some of your big carry goals for the year? Like if we're talking a year from now, 12
Yeah.
months away.
Yeah.
What kind of revenue do you want to be being at? What does this business look like? Like what's next for this?
Um, yeah, so I definitely have a big goal in mind when it comes to this business. Right now, even at this point, like my stand store, like I feel like I have so many good products that I want to promote, but like Stan, if people go to your Stan store and then they're like scrolling and scrolling, they're confused and they get lost because it's not a website
Yeah.
and it's not even technically like a landing page. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just highlighting like
It's
your
products
products
and then
for
it's like a
sale.
checkout page almost, right? It's
So your main page of your stand store has all of your products in there, and then when you click on one, then it's like your landing page and then your checkout all in one. So,
got it.
but like if you're offering too much, people are going to get lost. So I'm in the process of doing a website where I'll have like my top sellers in my stand store, but then I'll have a link to like all my other products. And then I'm going to have a website where I can like showcase all the products that I want to promote and sell and then run ads to those.
Got it.
So not
Got it.
not just
Okay.
one product. Yeah.
Okay. Got
So
it.
it's a lot to do. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I know how much it is to do and I need to start. We're almost, I don't want to say like frozen by it, but yeah,
I
yeah.
almost is it possible that at the end of the year you could be doing $1 million run rate?
Oh gosh. I mean,
Like 88, what would that be? 83,000 a month? I mean, at this growth rate with ads, we could be talking in December and you're hitting 80,000, $100,000 months.
I've seen it. A few of the accounts that like I follow and that I really like and like their model um, are doing $100,000 in sales a month. And one of the gals that I really like and that I follow, she just started this last August, so she's only a few months ahead of me. Hers is a little bit different though because she's not faceless, um, but it's kind of in the same realm, I should say. So but that's what I love about digital products. That's what I'm like so passionate about because I'm like these are products that I think are so cool, and that like I take the products that I buy. I learn from them. Like I said, I've learned so much because I'm learning from these products that I'm buying and then I'm implementing it, and it's something that the everyday person can take, learn from, and then do themselves. It's
Right.
not just, and
Right.
there's plenty of accounts out there that are not doing ads and they are making more a
Right.
month than I
Right.
am. So the potential is just so endless there, and the cap, like there is no cap, which I think is great. It's not like
Yeah.
okay, I've maxed out and then this is it.
What would you say to the people who are skeptical about this business model, right? So maybe not speaking to the skeptics because
Hmm.
haters are haters. But let's say I'm considering going into this MRR business and I go online and I see people talking negatively about it or that maybe it's a trend or whatever people say. Like,
Hmm.
what would you say to them about those comments and how obviously this has worked tremendously for you and has changed your business trajectory? But like, what would you say to them about overcoming those critiques that you hear online and how you see this thing as being something that's completely different than that?
Yeah, it's funny. It's so rare that I feel like I do kind of see the critiques of it. I didn't even know there really was critiques until recently. I saw it on somebody else's website where they were bashing MRR because someone had asked if their product was, and it's so nice though to have something done for you already that then you can like take and sell.
Yeah.
Um, and it really just like gets your gears going of like, okay, and it's like, okay, gave me an idea for something that now I can create and then go do.
Yeah.
One of the gals that I follow that I think she started this back in the fall, she started with one of the MRR courses and she still sells that, but she came up with like a course of her own and a couple guides of her own, and then that's where the majority of like her sales come from.
Right.
So it's a great, I think, stepping stone. It's a great time saver, and they're not just courses to sell a course. Like they're courses that you're going to take and you're going to learn from, and you're going to apply that. And you can either take it and apply it by just selling that same course as is, or coming up with something as your own.
Got it. No, that's honestly true. And there's not a ton of hate out there. First of all, there's hate for everything. So
Oh yeah,
you
absolutely.
look up anything and they're gonna talk about they're gonna say Facebook
Yeah.
ads are trash. You know, people
Yeah.
say everything about anything, but that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And this isn't a
I
question that
mean,
I
one thing I have seen though, the bashing with like in this community is people that are doing paid ads and aren't doing it organically. And like,
oh, because you're doing it's almost like you're cheating the system.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if I'm gonna if you're gonna I'm gonna give you $1 and you're gonna be $10 back, like I will do that all day, every day.
Yeah.
Why not?
This isn't one question that I prompted you about, but it's just a curious thought of like if you could talk to the Teri of January 1st or in December when you mentioned that you were thinking about this, and you could say a couple of things of just throw a little ball back then. Is there anything that you would say to yourself back then, like with seeing you where you are now?
It's not too good to be true would be one of them, because I know that like right away I was definitely a skeptic of it and thinking like I'm gonna try it, but I just don't know if this is actually gonna work, or this is gonna be it. Um, and just keep going towards that goal of helping others out. That's one been really cool thing of being able to help other women that want to quit their 9 to 5 and be able to sell digital products from their phone, not even have that specific, those specific hours per se. Like if a kid is sick, I can drop everything and go, and I don't have to worry about like clocking out or telling a boss that like, hey, I've got a sick kid.
Yep.
And then another thing too with the paid ads is, let's say you do go on vacation for a week or you do have a sick kid for a couple days, your
Right.
stuff is still on autopilot,
Right.
and you don't have to worry about like, oh, I didn't do my 3 reels today. Granted, if you're good and you batch, all of your reels will be done, but I'm kind of bad at the batching content. Some people are obviously a lot more organized with it, but I don't know, I would just be like, keep, because that first month was hard when you're like, oh, I only made like $100, and I see a lot of other accounts like that. They're like, I haven't made any sales yet. I don't know what to talk about yet.
So
And
many people probably quit after that week 3, week 4. They're like,
I
this is
think,
stupid. Yeah.
I think that's another huge thing. Everyone's doing this, and there's so many faceless accounts out there. It's like, yeah, but there's only so many accounts out there that are actually
Right.
sticking with it and following through to get to that point.
Right.
Like, they quit on, like, if I would have quit on day 111, I never would have made this much on day like 112
Right.
or
Right. Right. And it's also like for you, it might be that your rise, like you said, happens month 2. For others, it might be month 6. For others, it might be month 11. But in the grand scheme of time, I mean, we're talking about a sliver, right? 11
Mhm.
months to start a business, you know, and it's just it's this digital world is just so crazy of how like quickly things can happen. Like the
Yeah.
idea of starting a $300,000 business, $250,000 business in 4 months is unheard of in most cases.
Yeah.
So it's very inspiring, honestly,
Mhm.
to see something like that come together. Any closing thoughts, like anything that you have on your chest about MRR that you just want to tell the people listening, you know, to put a bow on this good conversation? I feel like this is such a good masterclass on this business model and like how simple it truly is. I think that's a big thing in my mind is don't overcomplicate it. It's simple. Like don't take something that's easy and make it really hard. Just focus on the steps. But anything you want to add that you think will be a good final closing remark for people?
Yeah, well, I feel like I have two things that I just thought of. One, it's like I never in a million years thought that you could be making an income from doing 3 to 5 second reels with like trending audio. Like, how bizarre is that? Like, how weird of a world do we live in that you can make literally a full time income plus more by doing that, which is so cool. And having that freedom is just that in itself has been that's been like the life changer. I can't even say, of course the income is insane, and I never thought that that was going to be even how it's been. Just having that freedom too that comes along with it as a working mom is so nice. And it
Right.
really like a lot of people are like, oh, the 2 to 3 hours a day isn't true. And it's like once you get like your systems in place, like it really is true. Like you're not
Right.
working more than a couple
Right.
hours
You
a
can
day.
grow at the speed of how much you want to work, right? If you want to hustle
Yeah.
hard, you put in more time. If you want to work too, yeah, that's so amazing.
Well, I mean,
That's
like
so
right away, obviously it was more than that, but like it's gotten to the point now where it's like there's certain days where I'm out running errands and I'm like, I'm not going to work at all today. And I don't have to. But you know, the other thing that I saw recently that I thought was really cool that maybe someone that's like skeptical, that it was like, here, I have to read it because it said, the volume of digital product transaction has increased by 70% in the last 2 years.
wow.
Yeah. Which I was like, oh my goodness, it just in the last 2 years. And then it says conservative estimates place spending on digital products at 135 billion for 2024.
Wow. Wow. And
Yeah.
some people just
So
want to
like,
make 10 grand a month. The market's there for this. The market is so there for this.
and that's just it. Like it's there and like it's the digital world. So like it's not going away in a year or 2 years. It's only just going to keep growing with new trends and new things. And as long as you stay up on those trends and like what's hot, sell
Right.
those products and you're going to make money
Wow. I
or
love
create
that.
your own
I love that.
products.
So good. So good. Where can people find you that want to see your content? When's this new website launching?
That's a good question. My goal was by the end of May, and I do not think that that's happening. My Instagram, my faceless Instagram, which is
Which I'll
just
link. I will link that.
yeah,
Faceless Digital Chic, not
yeah,
chick, for all the
yes,
listeners out there. Jake and I
yep,
got that wrong.
yep, yep. I know it's so funny. Like 2 months later, and I was like, "What are you calling it? That's not my name." Like,
Yes. No, that's all. Okay. So Instagram's kind of the main one. And then inside of your Instagram, in your link in bio, you have like your stand store, your lead
he
magnets,
stands
your
for yeah,
programs, everything there. But Instagram's kind of the main platform. Um,
yeah.
and hopefully
I
once we
have
get
my,
this,
I mean, I have my domain obviously for my website which is just faceless digital chic, but it's just a
that's
like a
coming soon.
coming soon. You can put in your email type of thing, but
Okay. Amazing. Well, Teri, thank you so much for this. This was a blast. I feel like this is
yeah,
like a 30-minute masterclass, no, 45-minute masterclass now at this point on MRR and this business model. And hopefully, for anybody who's been considering this, after hearing Teri's story, you go and actually do it. And you get into the business, you give it a good run, or if you're considering getting into digital products or membership, something online though, something in the digital space, you use this as an opportunity to do it and reach out to Teri if you need any help because she's got something good going on here, and we're excited about it. So thank you, Teri.
thanks, David.